Looking for magic cards? At flipsidegaming.com you can now use the promo code LVD to get a 10% discount on orders over $10 while supporting the channel at the same time. Hello and welcome to another Magic Arena gameplay video. Today we're taking a look at a blue-red Cavalcade deck that we built on stream recently. It's a deck centered around the 2-mana enchantment, Cavalcade of Calamity, that says whenever a creature you control with power 1 or less attacks, Cavalcade deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker that creature is attacking. So kind of like an anthem effect for 1-powered creatures. And because we have this deck building restriction of only playing creatures with power 1 or less for the most part, we're also playing 4 copies of Tetsuko Mizawa that says creatures you control with power or toughness 1 or less can be blocked, making all our creatures unblockable. So if we combine Tetsuko with Cavalcade, we can assemble quite a scary force. So let's take a look at our entire deck list, starting out with our 1-drops, where we've got some evasive creatures, 4 copies of Mistcloaked Herald, that plays very nicely alongside Cavalcade as a 1-powered creature that can keep attacking and pinging the opponent for 1 extra damage with Cavalcade. We also have 4 copies of Terramander as a 1-mana 1/1 flyer, can also adapt 4 for 8 mana, costing 1 generic mana less to activate for each instant and sorcery card in our graveyard. Don't have a ton of instants and sorceries, but in some games we might get to the point where we can adapt Terramander. Of course, then it no longer triggers Cavalcade, but we can always attack with Terramander, trigger Cavalcade, and then before blockers, adapt the Terramander, so we can get that 1 extra point of damage in still. And then our final 1-drop creature is Fanatical Firebrand, 1 mana for a 1/1 creature with haste, and can also tap and sacrifice it to deal 1 damage to any target, so it gives us a bit of interaction for 1 toughness creatures as well, maybe taking out Llanowar Elves, which can be pretty important. And then our final 1-drop is 4 copies of Shock, dealing 2 damage to any target at instant speed, giving us an additional way of interacting with opposing creatures, or maybe just burning the opponent out. And then moving on to 2 mana, we've got the full 4 copies of Chart of Course. Since we have so many evasive creatures, it's very easy for us to attack, so we just get to draw 2 cards for 2 mana and refuel to find more cheap creatures to unload on the board alongside our Cavalcade, or to find a Cavalcade and Tetsuko if we haven't found 1 copy already. Then we've got the full 4 copies of Tetsuko, which is legendary, so there is some diminishing returns there, but usually we're happy to have 1 copy in play, and the opponent will often kill it with removal, so we get to play an additional copy if we have multiples in hand. And then of course the full 4 copies of Cavalcade, which does stack nicely, so if we can get multiple copies of Cavalcade out, it's even better. Then we've got the full 4 copies of Goblin Instigator, 2 mana 1/1 that makes a 1/1 goblin token when it enters the battlefield, giving us 2 1/1 bodies that play nicely with Cavalcade and Tetsuko. Then moving on to our 3-drops, we've got the full 4 copies of Legion Warboss, a 2/2 creature with Mentor, even though we won't be using the Mentor ability in this deck all that often, since we want to keep our creature small. But at the beginning of combat on our turn, we get to make a 1/1 a red goblin creature token. That token gains haste until end of turn and attacks this combat if able, so we can take full advantage of that 1/1 token right away, especially if we have a Tetsuko or Cavalcade in play on turn 2, since with Tetsuko the 1/1 token will be unblockable, so we can attack with it on the following turn as well, and start making more and more 1/1s. And with Cavalcade, even if the opponent has a blocker out, we still get to deal 1 damage to the opponent by attacking with a 1-powered creature. So also a way to just close out the game. If there's a board stall, Cavalcade plus Legion Warboss will ensure we get to deal 1 damage every turn. And then our final card in the deck is Light Up the Stage, 3 mana for a sorcery, has Spectacle for a single red mana, and it's pretty easy for us to enable Spectacle in our deck. And then we get to exile the top 2 cards of our library, and until the end of our next turn we can play those cards. So it's essentially 1 mana to draw 2 to some extent, which is a very powerful effect. So Light Up the Stage and Chart of Course are kind of our card draw spells that make sure we can keep finding more action and don't float out too badly. And then our mana base, 6 islands, 6 mountains, and then all the dual lands, 4 steam vents and 4 sulfur falls. So we only have a total of 20 lands, but the curve of the deck is pretty low, especially once you consider Light Up the Stage more as a 1-drop than a 3-drop, or only expensive card as Legion Warboss. So yeah, that's the deck. Now let's jump into some games and see how the deck does. Sure. We'll try this. There's no full art lands in the game anymore since Amonkhet rotated out, but you can still choose your basic land art. But you have to do it manually by copying and pasting in the text file. Alright, so here, could attack and then light up the stage, or we could Cavalcade and then next turn War Boss also deals an extra damage. I think that might be better here. So yeah, the interaction of War Boss with Cavalcade is pretty nice. But against a control deck, it doesn't matter all that much, since they're just gonna kill our stuff anyway. But one can hope. They should have killed that sooner. Now we still get a token. Alright. They changed how the attack all works with War Boss nowadays, so it doesn't mess up as much. Well, I mean, Cavalcade is clocking them, and it does leave an enchantment behind, so if they wipe the board, we still have something in play to work with. So it is reasonable against control decks, I suppose. Hello there. Playing War Boss is tempting too, but now we can Tetsuko plus light up the stage. Might be better. Alright. Probably playing into a sweeper effect here, but gonna have to play the Miscloaked one way or the other. Could wait until next turn, that way if they do play sweeper, we maybe get to keep the Herald afterwards. But if it was Crime of the Carnarium, they probably would have played it last turn, although who knows. So looking to maybe contempt Tetsuko here after we declare attackers. Yeah, they have to be careful with the timing. Wow, opponent just scoops him up. Well, I guess that worked out. Hand seems good enough. Turn 1 elves will happily kill here. I guess we'll split the difference 1 and 1. Ooh, alright, looks like it's Mirror March Elf. So do we want to play Cavalcade right now? Do we want to kill the Clancaller before it gets out of hand and they play a second one? Do we play Instigator first? Although they're likely to play something like a Steel Leaf Champion next turn, and then the 1/1s don't really attack into it all that well. So it could be correct to play Cavalcade here instead. Alright, so Steel Leaf would be kind of the worst case probably. Alright, second Clancaller, so no longer have the opportunity to kill it now. So perhaps got punished for not sacking the Firebrand ourselves. But now we have the War Boss combo, which doesn't really care if the token gets blocked, since we still get the 1 damage. They get to block with Lanner Elves. So the damage does add up. Ooh, Banefire for 2, that's unfortunate. Does take away quite a bit of our damage. Alright, we might be getting outraced now. Just the elves getting in there. Take it. At some point we can jump and sacrifice a Firebrand. So here we do have the option of sending in the Firebrand. If they block, we can Firebrand to finish off Clancaller. I guess that's reasonable. Alright. So the upside, of course, of Cavalcade as opposed to normal Anthem effect is that you still get to deal 1 damage, even though the opponent has a bunch of blockers out. So it's good at finishing off an opponent. That's already pretty low. Light up the stage, an excellent draw. Still only attacking with the Herald for now. But we're getting close to the point where we can attack with everyone for lethal. Tetsuko, excellent pickup. We're still at 13, so relatively safe from any shenanigans. Alright, GG's. Send in everyone. Alright, so that came together nicely. Had a pretty ideal draw. Alright, I think we've got a keeper here. Not sure if we're supposed to Herald or Terramander on turn 1. Another turn 1 Letter Elves. Guess we'll Herald. Blue-green, Marwyn, alright. Elves are popular today. Turn 2 Marwyn is scary, so we're probably in trouble. Alright, let's play Tetsuko. We've got a doubly unblockable Mistcloaked Herald. It's gonna attack right into their soul. Incubation. Beast Whisper, scary too. Alright, so they've assembled the combo. So that's gonna hurt. Let's play a War Boss. And we're hoping to draw into a Cavalcade soon enough. This is gonna be the turn where they draw a bunch of cards, play a bunch of elves. And next turn is a turn where they attack us with a bunch of elves. If we draw Cavalcade right away, we might have a chance at racing. Second Beast Whisper, perhaps. Hydroid Crisis, not bad. At least it's not an elf. Still pretty good though. Yeah, Cavalcade doubles all our damage, which is pretty significant. Don't think we're trading, even though Marwyn is quite valuable. I think we just need the War Boss to have enough damage this game. So, smart of them to attack. Firebrand can take out Letter Elves. So we could chart a course main phase to try and find our Cavalcade, so we can play it before attacking. And we don't really care about discarding a land all that much, so I think it's worth it to dig and try and find it. If we fail, we can still Firebrand and Terramander. Alright, no Cavalcade for us. Could also trade the War Boss for the Hydroid Crisis, don't know if that's such a good idea. So we'll send in 4. Play Mistcloaked, and then kill the Letter Elves. Slow down the mana just a tad. It's also possible we should have attacked with the Firebrand instead, but this is what I decided. Alright, so Cavalcade of the top would be pretty sweet. In fact, it could be close to lethal, maybe 1 point off. And we're not exactly under a ton of pressure here, so there's a chance we can win over the course of 2 turns. Yeah, I think Mentor is a must ability. Yeah, I don't think we can decline to Mentor, pretty sure. Alright, so now do we chart a course main phase again? I guess we do. Might also be keeping up Incongruity for Tetsuko here and try and ambush, but they only have an O2 back. So I think we'll chart a course again. give up on a little bit of value in the hopes of finding Cavalcade. Probably don't have the time to cast both Goblin Instigators, so might as well ditch one of them. Can still hope to chart a course into Cavalcade next turn. Now it could be reasonable to attack with a War Boss. We lose unblockability, but we can mentor onto a Mistcloak that's already unblockable. If we mentor onto a 1/1 like a Goblin token, then it would no longer be unblockable, because Tetsuko's ability checks constantly. Ooh, Stony Strength. That's unexpected. Got us pretty good. So that kills the War Boss. But we did get them down to 6. We can chum block if we have to. So we'll see here. Attack with everyone. So if we chump here, we're taking 9, so we have to double chump. Alright, looks like we got there. Light up the stage. Good chart for another Cavalcade. I guess we might as well. Just in case, no Cavalcades. We'll ditch this. Hasty Firebrand. Alright. Not bad, not bad. So Tetsuko enough to get the job done here. Alright, got both Tetsuko and Cavalcade, so looks promising. Turn 1 Guild Gate, so if this is the gate stack, we're pretty afraid of Gates Ablaze. Could also just be blue-white, more likely. Alright, Cavalcade. Is this a Spell Pierce? Oh wow. We got wrecked pretty badly there. Couldn't really play around it. Well, it's gonna slow us down quite a bit. We might just fire off these shocks end of turn to try and adapt Terramander, Merfolk Trickster too. Alright, let's go full control so we can kill it before blockers. I guess we can also respond to the ability. So it could have been worse. So it looks like a blue-white tempo deck of some variety instead of control. Currently have 1 instant in the graveyard, so even if we shock end of turn and draw lands, we would be 1 land short of adapting. So I guess we'll keep it in hand in case of more tricksters. And do we play around Cellar Wreckage? Don't think we can afford to. Alright, the Trickster couldn't block the Terramander because of Tetsuko. So we didn't have to shock the Trickster there, but I think it's still fine to do so. Alright, another Trickster, so we'll see if they target Terramander once again here. This time targets Tetsuko. I mean, I guess we'll shock the Trickster so we can get in for 1. Now we need to draw Char the Course, light up the stage to refuel. Legion War Boss. Tribunal for Tetsuko. Land lets us adapt as well. Shock does not. But we might fire off the shock end of turn just to be able to adapt Terramander next turn. Alright, more Tetsukos. I think I still prefer adapting the Terramander here. Seal away, sure. And the ferry. It's gonna be tough.
I know my responsibility.
Is it even worth it to go after Teferi at this point? Seems pretty pointless. Just hope to string together some nice draws here, but we're probably dead. So that's Spell Pierce on turn... What was it? Turn 2 on Cavalcade. Was pretty backbreaking, because with Cavalcade they probably would have been dead by now. And we're pretty dead here. Can't play around Settle. 3 meter. Alright. It's good enough for me. Alright. Alright, we're on the play. This one's sketchy, like, if we draw a second land for Chart Accords, we can string together something, but I don't think we can keep as-is on the play. Well, this is not much better, but we do get a Scry to hopefully find the red source. Keep that. So I think we're into Cavalcade over Firebrand. That way if we do get lucky and draw a third land for War Boss, we get to pile on the damage right away. Alright, up against mono black so far, and there's a land, perfect. Double War Boss is gonna add up pretty quickly. Don't have Tetsuko to make everything unblockable, but still. Alright, double supplier. See some spice here. Helm of the Host. Sadly they didn't hit any creature, so pretty unlucky with the supplier there. It's actually funny because the token attacking into supplier might actually be bad for us, since they might actively want to lose a supplier. It looks like pretty straightforward. Play War Boss, attack. I don't think we offer the trade for War Boss, just gonna keep making those 1/1 tokens. And if they block with a Marshal, we can play a Firebrand second main to finish off the Marshal. They do in fact trade. Another Marshal milled, Josu. So Marshal's gone. Alright, let's see if double War Boss can get there. Opponent seems to be stuck on 2. Does find a third land. Death Baron, alright. So zombies confirmed. So they do have good blocks on the War Boss. Can't adapt Terramander yet. Probably should have counted before playing the land there to conceal some info. Could attack with the War Boss as well. But I think we want to keep triggering Cavalcade. So we're hoping to draw into Charter Course, light up the stage, more War Boss, more Cavalcade. Since Cavalcade does stack nicely if we draw multiples. Just a land, so still no instants or sorcery, so can't adapt Terramander quite yet. So we'll keep getting in. Play the lands. And yeah, we might have lethal next turn. Triple Death Baron, it's pretty impressive too. Another Terramander. And yeah, that'll do it. Sweet. Alright, I guess we'll keep. Not too exciting, lacking some card draw and some Cavalcades. Double Tetsuko can be awkward. We'll lead with the Firebrand since we only have the one red source, so if we were to draw more cheap red cards, we want to make sure we don't get into a spot where we're constrained on red mana and can't double spell. We'll Tetsuko, get in for one. Black-red. Alright, don't mind seeing that, given that we have a second one. But we might be better off going double Mistcloaked here. Playcrafter, sure. And a hasty Firebrand. Alright, time to draw a Cavalcade, chart the course, or light up the stage. If this is a Chain Whirler, we're gonna cry. Rakdos Firewheeler, pretty good too. Probably should have targeted something else there. Oops. That's okay. Alright, we'll get in for 4 here. And I'm gonna assume we don't have to play around Chain Whirler. So down to 8. Oof. Well, Ritual of Soot was unexpected, but pretty effective. There's a Charter Course, but we lost our entire board presence. Yeah, that stings. Charter Course into Charter Course. Alright. Opponent's at 8. Instigators probably not going to be attacking a whole lot since we don't have Tetsuko. So I think we keep Cavalcade and then hope to draw into like a Terramander, War Boss, a third Tetsuko. Don't have many Mistcloaked Heralds left. Most of them perished. Down to 10. Would have much preferred to draw the land last turn, so we could discard it and keep the Instigators. So don't have many outs here. Alright, GG's. A well-timed Ritual of Soot will do it. Alright, hand looks keepable. Gutter Bones. Alright. I think we're still playing Tetsuko here. Put more stuff in play, it blocks Gutter Bones. And then next turn we can Charter Course plus Terramander. Supplier. Ooh, got a nice spicy Tomb deck. Alright, attack for 2. Could keep Tetsuko back. It's not unreasonable. But I'm guessing we're the aggro deck in the matchup. So taking 2 and trading 2 damage for 1 damage is probably still fine. And then we'll play Terramander, I guess. Next turn we can empty our hand. So we'll attack with everyone, empty your hand, hope to find Cavalcade of light up the stage for next turn. Perfect. So next turn is going to be good. In fact, they might be dead if they don't have removal here. Cavalcades, and yeah, it's game. Attack with everyone. Should have attacked with the Firebrand there. Yeah, once Cavalcade hits the board, things can get out of hand. Sweet. Alright, got Tetsuko and Cavalcade. No 1-drop sadly, but I think we still gotta keep. And then we can lead with Mountain so we can shock if we have to. Don't want to shock a witness. No, down to Vanguard, so the white weenie matchup is kind of a race, and a race we're probably not gonna win, but we can try. Play Terramander, and then attack with the Firebrand and Tetsuko. Could cash in the shock for 4 damage at some points, but I think we want to develop our board a little bit more. Next turn it's Cavalcade time. Hopefully we can dodge History or Banalish Marshal here. And then Cavalcade into hopefully War Boss is going to be pretty solid. Alright, we'll take it. Not a witness. Alright, well, I can just Cavalcade into Cavalcade here. It's not bad. And if their play last turn was just Hunted Witness, they probably don't have a Banalish Marshal or History in hand. Maybe a Loxodon. So not sure what they're holding here. Yeah, it looks like a Loxodon. Alright, never mind. Conclave Tribunal on Tetsuko. That is pretty relevant here, sadly. Do have a second one. But it does slow us down, since now we can't play the other Cavalcade. But I think it's still the play. Would love to pick up a third land for either War Boss or so we can finally shock the Vanguard.
No friend of mine fights alone.
Alright, Ajani shows up.
Be strong.
So we're taking 7 here. Never mind, we can block 2. So we'll take 5 down to 8. Cavalcade, that's 9 damage. Alright. for being stuck on 2 lands, we still had a pretty nice draw. All at them. GG's. Sweet. And yeah, this looks like a keeper to me. Maybe a bit heavy on the card draw, and could use more lands. Hero of Precinct 1. Alright. So do we Tetsuko? I guess we do, since it blocks the hero as well. And then if we hit a land drop, we can curve into Warboss, otherwise we'll have to do something else. Does the deck want something like Burn Bright? I doubt it. Like, it could still kind of work as a finisher, but I think Cavalcade already fills that role. I don't know, maybe like 1 or 2. Alright, we did hit the land, so it is party time. I think we hang back with Tetsuko, trading 1 damage for potentially way more. Doesn't necessarily seem worth it, although I guess they showed us Deputy. So they might Deputy Tetsuko instead of Warboss. Deputy also pretty good against Warboss if we make a bunch of tokens alongside Instigator. Alright, and they actually get rid of Warboss. I think that's the preferred outcome, since we kind of need Tetsuko for the unblockability here. But it's not looking great for us. Opponent making more tokens than we are. This might be Conclave Tribunal as well. Alright, so they can just get rid of both. And now it's looking pretty bad for us. Lost our 2 key threats. And we're pretty far behind on board. But I think we're still attacking. Question is, do we chart a course pre-combat? I think I'll wait now. And then we can chart a course plus Instigator. I guess we could also shock the hero now. Could be worth it. Should have done it the other way around, but I don't think our play would have changed. Alright, so managed to deal with a hero, a second Tithe Taker. And need another Tetsuko pretty soon here, Warboss instead. So we get to play Warboss and play a Firebrand. Firebrand we could keep on defense, but I guess we have to pay 2 mana to Tithe Takers to actually sacrifice a Firebrand in the opponent's turn. So it's not all that productive. So at that point we might as well attack with it, or just let it go and chart a course instead. Or Instigator. So we are digging for Tetsuko pretty badly here. So I could see just casting chart a course over Instigator. If we Instigator, we can maybe trade away for some tokens. We'll see here what they do. Alright, I guess we'll Instigator. And hope to dodge another Deputy. So we can block the Tithe Takers. Ooh, there's green in there too. Maybe for a Trostani. I guess they already showed us Incubation Incongruity. If we can find a Tetsuko, then this hand could still turn out fine. Alright, well, that was a nice draw. Opponent keeps up 5 mana, so what could this be? They also didn't attack. I guess we'll play Tetsuko first, see if they have a response. Alright, that works. Think we go to combat. So do we attack with everyone? Points at 12, so we would like to present a 2-turn clock. So that does mean sending in all the 1/1s here. They could have a March of the Multitudes indeed. Probably not beating that. Yeah, I guess we send in all these. Alright, that worked. Draw 2. Shock. Probably want to shock now if we want to shock anything because of Tithe Takers. But I don't think we want to. It's chart, of course. Yeah, if this is a March of the Multitudes, we're in trouble. Yep. March for 7, so I think we're just dead here. Attack with everyone, block the Tithe Takers, still take 10 damage. Alright, GG's. So had we shocked Tithe Taker, I don't think it would have made a difference here. Alright, I think that's gonna wrap things up for today. We'll have another stream where we can play some more battles with viewers. But for now, I want to thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed. And as always, have a nice day. I also want to thank all my patrons for being part of the channel, and you can become a patron yourself today and decide the topic of future videos over at patreon.com/LegenVD.